Over the past few years, I've had several conversations with people who are younger than I am. And, they always ask me for advice because since I'm older, they kind of assume that I'm wiser and they ask me, things about life. One topic that really always comes up is that of aimlessness. The feeling of not only not knowing where they're going, but not exactly sure what they're doing now or why they're doing it. And if they do figure out where they want to go, why exactly do they want to go there? And this could be for anything. It could be for careers, relationships, just life in general. I know when I was in my late 20s, at least 26, 27, 28, I felt a lot of that, as a matter of fact, where I was working and, I graduated and everything like that. I had my degree, but I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing with my life at that point. I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to take myself. I knew my degree could have been used for something, but I just wasn't really sure of what. And not only really sure of what, but how do I actually get there? What do I actually do? This usually happens after a person is burnt out at their job, or they're burnt out from a relationship, or burnt out at for with their family. It usually happens around those times when you ask yourself, what exactly am I doing with my life? And it could be a very, very disorienting feeling, especially for young men, especially for the society that we're growing up in for young black men. For young men, this feeling of I'm not sure what I'm doing with my life or where I want to go is not only very disorienting, but it causes a lot of mental health problems because as men in our society, we're socialized at least by the age of 16 to 17 to, for lack of a better phrase, have our shit together. And it's really unfair because at 16, 17 years old, I would say even up to the point where you're at least 22 to 23, you still don't know a lot about life. You're still a kid at those ages. A lot of people would say, person who's 22, you're grown. You should be knowing what you're doing at that point. But I remember when I was 22, I didn't know a damn thing. And I've been around, young women who are 22. If any women, for any young woman, or for any woman out there who's older than 22, you're in your 30s right now, think about the time where you were 22. You ain't no shit, and our society pressures us, especially for black folks, because of the economic and social position that we're in, to really have it all together at that point. And we don't. We get adultified a lot when we're young. And I can't speak to the experience of young black women, but when it comes to black boys, we're made to be the man of the house, you know what I mean? If the father isn't there. And even when the father is there, they kind of expect us to be a man at that age. You gotta grow up, you gotta know what you gotta do. But at 16, your mind isn't developed. At 18, your mind isn't developed yet. Even at 20, 22, 23, your mind isn't developed yet. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't even develop all the way up until you're what, 25 or 26? And even sometimes at those ages, even sometimes at those ages, that's when you get to the point where you've been told to make adult decisions for the past 10 years of your life. And then you look back and you realize, since I was 16, I was told that I needed to be grown. I needed to be an adult. I needed to make adult decisions. I needed to know how to do things for myself. But I was never really taught that. Everything I had was just through experience. And now I'm at this point in my life where I don't really know what to do with my life. I don't really know who I am yet. But we've been told for the past 10 years that we're supposed to know all that. You feel me? So aimlessness is one of those things that not only have I dealt with, and I see younger people dealing with, but it's one of those things that I feel, especially within our community, is something that's not recognized enough, not talked about enough, and we don't have a way to really navigate or get out of it. we just kind of do what we do. Have you ever met a person? Think about this. You ever met a person, a young person, from the ages of 20 to about 24, 25, or when they do something, right, that seems crazy to you, and then you ask them, why did you do that? 8 out of 10 times, what's the answer you're gonna get? I don't know. And it's frustrating because I've seen that before. I've seen that so many times before, where you ask a person, what you just did, that decision you just made was illogical. It was based on emotions you had at the moment, and it caused you to get into some trouble. And if it didn't cause you to get into some trouble, it was really messed up, and you kind of either mess up a relationship or mess up yourself or mess up an opportunity. Why exactly did you do that? And a lot of times the answer you get is, I don't know. When folks do things just to do things, it's because they were actually never really taught how to make those adult decisions that we were told when we were 16, when we were 17, when we were 18. We were never actually taught how to make logical decisions. We were just told that now that we're at this age, we need to make those decisions. But you're not going to make those decisions if you don't know how, if you don't know how to slow down, especially if you're a kid. And I'll say this all day and every day. At 22, 23 years old, you are still a kid. You don't know a damn thing. Now, that's not saying that there are no mature 22, 23-year-olds. There are plenty of people who are at that age and that are mature for their age. But trust me, I was mature for my age. I ain't no shit. Now, I don't want to go on to a long rant about just the concept of aimlessness. I actually want to help people or put out my ideas on how to get that out there and how we could get our focus back on track. When I went through aimlessness, when I thought about, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life, I then started to ask myself, what is the purpose of my life? What do I want? What is my personal purpose, my personal goal? And it can't be anything superficial like, I want to have money and a family, I want to get lit on the weekends. Because at the end of the day, at 40 years old, my knees gonna hurt. I can't be getting lit on the weekend no more. Yeah, I mean, if I really wanted a family, I'm gonna have to find a nice woman to settle down with. And if I want a family, I'm gonna have to have a job and some savings in order to have my children. You feel me? So I actually, when I told myself this, when I said, okay, these are some of the things that I want, I started to navigate myself into my life on how do I actually achieve those goals. And that's how I reoriented myself. I asked myself, what is my personal purpose? And when I found out my personal purpose is, I want to go ahead and help the Black community do things like, mental health counseling, things like that. That's when I said, okay, I'm going to go back to school and get my master's in mental health counseling, which is what I'm doing now. When I saw that, okay, all these chicks that I'm messing with, they ain't about nothing. What do I actually want out of these relationships? Do I just want a quick, 10-minute pump and I'm out? Or do I want something fulfilling, like a life partner? What do I actually want out of these women that I'm messing with? Because I can tell you, when I was 25, I wasn't treating women like they was something longevity. I'll be with them pretending that we're going to be long, but I knew it wasn't going to last long. And I wasted their time. And that was unfair to them, and that was unfair to me. So I stopped doing that. So the way that you reorient yourself from aimlessness is, ask yourself, don't just wallow in the fact that you don't know what you want in life. Ask yourself and really think about it. Look inside yourself and say, what is my personal purpose? What are my personal goals? What do I actually want in life? And me, as a non-religious person, I couldn't just say, my purpose in life is to worship God. I don't believe in one. If you believe in one, that's cool. But if you're going to say my purpose in life is to worship God, that's not going to get you a family or nothing. A lot of people are going to say, oh, God will provide for you. Yeah, sure. You can believe in that all you want. But one thing I did learn when I was religious, when I was in church, was faith without works is dead, right? You just can't sit here on the computer or on your phone or in school or in church saying, well, gotta provide, and you just sit your ass down. Now you gotta go out and do something. You gotta go out and do something. Now, aimlessness is not something that's easy to get over. This took me a lot of cognitive processes in order for me to know, to get to the point where I am, where I knew what I wanted to do. Well, I kind of knew what my purpose was at that point, my personal goals at that point. But make sure that your personal goals aren't something that's not superficial. Oh, I just want to have bread. I want to have a big house. I want to have a bad bitch. Nah, you got to have more. You need to think about more than that. You want to have a big house, cool. Where do you want to live? You want to have bread, cool. What you want to do to get it? You want to have a baddie on your arm, cool. What's up a baddie issue? What does she do? How does she fulfill your life? How you fulfill her life? Because remember, it's not all about you, young man. It's all about her too. Relationships are more than, I'm the man and she submits to me. Why she should submit to you? Y'all feel me? Anyway, that's all I want to say. I'm thinking I'm gonna make more of these videos, so y'all like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Peace, family.